with wires and knobs. Namrood's.
Hello, if you're still having trouble with your Christmas list, later on, Bad Influence will be presenting the Firstness Guide to 12 Days of Christmas, including these amazing laser guns.
3x2 boxer shorts.
Oh, hello there. Our main review this week is the great-looking new racing game for the 3DO, The Need for Speed.
Andy takes part in an experiment to find out what he might have looked like as a Viking warrior. And stay tuned for the first ever Donkey Kong Country cheat, courtesy of Namrood. It's a packed show today, and there's more. The term Super Console is a relatively new one, but this is a Super Console that's been around for ages. It's called the Neo Geo, and it lets you play arcade games in your home. There are a couple of problems, though. First of all, it's never been officially available in this country, so you have to get it as an expensive grey import. And secondly, new games cost as much as £200 each. The reason for that, if I can just take it out, is that they come on these huge carts which have got mountains of expensive chips inside them. But now there is a new Neo Geo, and we've got it in the studio. There were two main differences between this and the old one. First of all, that mountain of expensive chips have been put inside the console. And secondly, the games come on CDs, and so cost around £40. The machine also comes with this funky, rounded controller, which has been specially designed to make special moves easier to pull off in fighting games. Like the old machine, it lets you play arcade games in your home, including this one, the King of the Fighters 94. It's a massive game, more than 5 times bigger than Super Street Fighter 2. The fighters have more moves than a mongoose in a shopping bag, and there's a special tag team option where players can choose groups of martial artists to fight all over the world. And if you fancy one in your Christmas stocking, it'll be out by Christmas, costing £399.
Furtlers, what am I? That's right, a snow nam, get it? Hey, now snow is great, but you don't want to be going out into all that horrid cold fresh air, so here's a snow tip. Bring your snow indoors and build your snow nam there. I'm waiting for a delivery from Snow to Go. Oh, well, while we're waiting, here's a great cheat for the brand new Donkey Kong Country on the SNES. During the cranky winding his gramophone sequence at the start, spell out Diddy. That's down, Y, down, Y, like so. And the cheat will give you special access to a very special room where Kong can play any of the animal bonus games as many times as he likes. Just watch this. Oh, look at that rhino go! Aha! My snow! Oh.
There's no business like snow business. Our main review this week is The Need for Speed on the 3DO, a spectacular road racer. Brought to you by the same people who invented Road Rash. It has a similar feel, but with one big difference. You've only got one opponent to race against, although there are other cars on the road. There are 8 cars to choose from, including this Porsche. They all handle like the real thing, and they sound amazingly realistic. But how does it play? Here's Sahel.
It's more of a car driving sim than an arcade action game. The attention to detail is exceptional, but it's not quite as much fun as Road Rash. There are 3 tracks in the game, each divided into 3 sections. This is the Alpine track, which has some amazing scenery. I'm driving the Ferrari here, which is quite hard to control at first. Although there are other cars on the road, there's only one opponent in this game. This yellow car's my opponent, and I'm just overtaking him now. You can pick your opponent's car as well as your own, so you can make things easier or harder for yourself. I'm on form today, so I think I'll give him a Diablo. The best thing about this game are the spectacular crashes which you can watch over and over again from any angle in all their destructive glory. This is the worst part of the game. As in Road Rash, the speed cops are everywhere and you have to be pretty nippy to avoid getting a ticket, which evidently I'm not. This is a stunning looking game that would certainly benefit from some extra tracks and a 2-player option. I'm looking forward to the sequel.
The level of realism is absolutely amazing. I could happily play this for hours.
This must be the best-looking console game in the world. These graphics wouldn't be out of place in an arcade.
And the scores for The Need for Speed, the girls went into overdrive and gave it 5, but the boys stayed in 4th gear.
Everybody's seen pictures and films of Vikings marauding. But how do we know what they actually looked like? Well, nobody does, definitely, because there weren't cameras way back then, and it's been a problem that's been confusing historians for over 1,000 years. It's a puzzle that the York Archaeological Trust have been trying to solve since they set up this place, the Jorvik Viking Centre, 10 years ago.
These models of Scandinavian pirates are an artist's impression of how they might have looked, based on wood carvings, sketches scratched on slate, and other bits and pieces that have been dug up over the years. But like all sketches, they weren't perfect. So what did Vikings really look like?
Well, some clues could be found in a place like this. This is an archaeological dig. Attention to detail is very important to archaeologists. A small piece of pottery or even a tiny piece of thread can lead to a major discovery as to what the Vikings wore, ate, or possibly looked like.
1.52.
Archaeologists are like detectives, digging up clues that might be hundreds of years old. These clues have to be pieced together to solve those puzzles. Unfortunately, the only clues they had to solve the mystery of what the Vikings really looked like were skulls and skeletons. The scientists in York are now using a new technique to try and put flesh on the bone and rebuild a real Viking's face. The first step is to use a laser to scan the skull and build a 3D model inside the computer.
They then have to match the skull to a living person. Now, we can tell from the skull and its skeleton the age, sex, height and build of the person that they need to find. In this case, it's a male between 25 and 30, slim build and about my height. So guess what? I'm next for the laser treatment.
Although the laser is very low-powered, I've been warned not to look directly at the beam. Once the computer has the data from both the skull and my face, the equivalent points on the two different faces have to be lined up. So on the left, the face of Andy Crane. On the right, the skull of the unknown Viking. Time for the techies.
Once we've got into the computer, I've got to match up your face with the skull using these 38 points, 10 down the centre and 14 either side. So there we have your face.
Here, Richard is marking the bridge of my nose, so the computer knows where it is. It's reasonably easy working on a whole face, but then he has to use his judgment to estimate where the bridge on the skull's nose would have been. Once both sets of points have been logged, it's over to the computer to stretch my face over the Viking's skull to recreate Viking Andy.
They've got the skull and they've got the photos, so the stage is now set for Lynn the sculptor to build up a finished figure.
Lynn uses the photographs and the skull to sculpt a face which will hopefully look like a Viking who lived in York over 1,000 years ago. So at last, we can discover what those Scandinavian pirates really looked like.
So until scientists come up with a time machine, technology like this is the only way that you and I in the 20th century can journey back and join Vikings like this guy in the 10th. Isn't that right, Eamon?
And they can use the computer information to drive a milling machine which produces a Viking head like this one they've done of me. 1,000-year-old Andy. Can you tell the difference?
Well, yeah, the one on the right's better looking.
Thanks, Violet.
Now for this week's news and previews.
Move over, Sonic. A new Mega Drive megastar is shooting your way. This little chap's called Ristar. He's cool, he's fast, and he's got his very own platform game due out next year on Mega Drive and Game Gear.
The French programming team that brought you Alone in the Dark have got a new graphic adventure game on the way. Little Big Adventure is the story of a world called Twin Sun, which has been taken over by an evil tyrant called, get this, Dr. Funfrock. You play the hero, Twin Sen, and your quest is to set the oppressed people free. Lush graphics and the promise of compelling gameplay make this one to look out for.
Everyone likes a beat-em-up, and Amiga owners will really love this one. It's called Shadow Fighter. It's one of the few beat-em-ups to be developed specifically for computer formats as opposed to consoles. Once you've defeated all challengers, you get to compete against the mighty Shadow Fighter. There's a training level where you get to bash up a puppet opponent. Out next week on Amiga with CD32 versions early next year.
Fellas, this snow is very cold, which brings me to my next snowy tip. Balls. Now, making snowballs makes your hands very cold, so I've invented this, a snowball making machine. It's great. It's got 4 different settings in order of hardness of balls. Now, Clint is the hardest, then Mel, Marilyn, and finally, the softest, Jeremy. I think I'll set it to Clint balls. Now, it takes a few minutes to warm up, so I'll just get it going and do this next cheat, which is for Streets of Rage 3 on the Mega Drive. Now, fight your way through to Stage 2, Level 1, and you'll come across a character, a little kangaroo called Roo, there you go, with his keeper. Now, kill the keeper and Roo will run away. Then, when you lose a life, you'll be able to continue choosing Rue, here we go, as a new character to fight with. Oh, great, my snowball making machine's warmed up. Oh no, I should have set it to Jeremy balls.
With only a few shopping days left to go to Christmas, you're probably worrying about what to buy your favourite fertler.
Well, fret no more as we present you with the Fertler's Guide to the 12 Days of Christmas. Take it away, Andy.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a cartridge in a TV. This is, in fact, a SNES and TV combined in one handy little case, sadly only available in Japan.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 data gloves. This is one of the newest computer controllers. It lets you command your computer simply by pointing at it. And this is one of the oldest. Believe it or not, it came out 5 years ago for the NES.
And a cartridge in a TV. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 fresh games. Our votes for the freshest games of 1994 go to Magic Carpet for its original strategy and gameplay, Earthworm Jim for its unusual humour and gameplay, and Donkey Kong Country for its fresh look and gameplay.
2 data gloves.
And a cartridge in a TV.
On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 4 calling birds. These electronic parrots have got digital tape recorders built inside them, which were triggered by loud noises. Sing, Andy!
3 fresh games.
2 data gloves.
And a cartridge in a TV. On the 5th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 bold wings. Bold pilots should barrel roll over this. US Navy fighter for the PC. 6 planes to fly, but tragically, Graham's crashed the Tomcat.
4 calling birds.
Oh, 3 fresh games.
2 data gloves.
And a cartridge in a TV.
On the 6th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 6 guns a-blazing. This Christmas, there are guns out for CDI, 3DO, SNES, Mega CD, and not forgetting these lock-on guns which use the same technology as Quasar. Trouble is, they're so popular, they're difficult to get hold of in the shops.
Etc, 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 and a cartridge in a TV. On the 7th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 7 mice a-squeaking. Lots of mice available on the market this Christmas, including designer mice. A leopard skin, or teak, whichever takes your fancy. A Hot Wheels mouse, if you like cars, with a pointer to match. This home mouse, which lets you design your own pointers, like these dancing girls. Or this aeroplane. There's an infrared cordless mouse. There's even a mouse that looks like a mouse.
That's only 6.
Ah, but you haven't met my friend. Meet Minnie.
Etc, etc, etc.
And a cartridge in a TV.
On the 8th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 8 mates are playing. The only 8-player game we could find was Micro Machines 2. So how does it work? Well, you plug 2 joypads into the normal ports, 2 into the ports on the J-cart, and 2 players share each joypad.
Etc, 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 and a cartridge in a TV. On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ladies dancing. This is a program called Click and Play for the PC. It lets you design your own computer games. You can scan your friends, put them in, animate them at will. You can even blow them up. Take that, Violet.
Ouch! Etc, etc, etc.
And a cartridge in a TV.
On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 10 lemmings leaping. Yes, those lovable creatures with an acute death wish problem are back in All New World of Lemmings on the PC. You have to help 3 tribes of lemmings, Egyptian, Classic and Shadow, in their attempts to colonise a new homeland.
Etc, 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 and a cartridge in a TV. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 nerds are fertiling. If the sad techie in your life thinks they have everything, give them some glasses like this, guaranteed to amaze the ice and break your friends at parties. All you need now, sir, is a life. I thank you.
Etc, etc, etc.
And a cartridge in a TV.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 12 drummers drumming. This is a bit unusual, the miracle keyboard that plugs into a PC or a console. I've got rhythm. Who can ask for anything more? OK, guys, 2, 3. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love sent to me 12 drummers drumming.
11 nerds are fertling.
10 lemmings leaping.
9 ladies dancing.
8 mates are playing.
7 mouses squeaking.
6 guns are blazing.
5 bold wings.
4 calling birds.
3 fresh games.
2 data gloves.
And a cartridge in a TV.
get 22,000 football players into 3.5 inches of plastic? Well, I've no idea, but the programmers of Sensible World of Soccer seem to have managed it. And every professional football team in the universe is in here. Phew, I bet it's smelly. Here's Harry.
Sensible Soccer is the king of the computer football games, and it just got better. There's tons more options, improved animation, and a whole new managerial section. This game has got much more depth than the original. The choice of tactics has been extended, and there are new formations. I'm playing a 3-4-3, which gives me extra attacking options. The main feature which makes it different from the first Sensible Soccer is this section. If you're not happy with the team as it stands, you've got the option as a manager to buy new and better players from around the globe. This game will keep you occupied for the 12 days of Christmas, and probably 12 months after that.
I can't bother with all the managerial stuff, but I love playing the games. Passing's really easy once you get the hang of it.
This gives me eye strain. I don't see the appeal of the Sensible games. The sprites are far too small.
Sensible World of Soccer scores 4s from the boys and the girls.
Another sporting fixture now. This is NBA Jam on the Game Boy. As with the 16-bit versions, all the NBA teams are represented, and every one of the tiny players has his own abilities. Isn't technology wonderful? Here's Sally.
I was pretty sceptical about the idea of a basketball game on a Game Boy, but this proved me wrong. It's fast, fun, and surprisingly detailed. In fact, there's just a bit too much detail for a small screen to cope with. There's so much going on, and the action's so fast that you can't play for very long without getting seriously sore eyes. As a fan of NBA Jam on the SNES, I really miss all the brilliant sound effects of the 16-bit version. It's a pity that there's no two-player link-up option, but it's still the best basketball game ever to appear on a Game Boy.
It's an impressive conversion. I can't see how the Game Boy can possibly do better than this.
Forget everything you've ever thought about handheld sports sims. This is speedy and surprisingly playable.
And the miniature NBA Jam gets a funky 4 from the boys and the girls.
Burr, 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 burr. Huh. Furtlers, when you're playing with indoor snow, you'll have to turn your central heating up to compensate for the extra cold. Oh, phew. That's better. And now the bit that I've been looking forward to. In a moment, I'll be showing you how you can enjoy indoor sledging and how to build your very own high-tech super sledge like mine. It's even got a built-in TV to watch while you're waiting for snow and a turbo thruster for going uphill. Phew. But first, my last cheat, which is for Ren and Stimpy on the SNES. On the Vidiot screen, just press LRA, LRL, BR and X, and you can choose levels simply by pressing select. And here we have level 4. Great. Hey. And now, Furtlers, indoor sledging. This is going to be great. Oh no! Someone's stolen my snow! But here's a clue. The floor's all wet. It must have been stolen by a wet person.
Last week's competition prize was a Mega Drive with 32X and a game. We asked you, what is the name of the style of painting in this picture? The answer is pointillism. The lucky winner is Luke Fisher from Tiptree in Essex. Well done. 10 runners up. Get Bad Influence Better Than Sleep t-shirts.
This week's prize is a Wayne's multimedia PC with click and play. The competition question is, what's the actual date of the 12th day of Christmas? If you think you know, give us a call with your answer on 0891 114477. Make a note of our new number, 0891 114477. Call will cost you no more than 25p. Lines will stay open till midnight on Monday, and as ever, get permission from whoever pays the bill before you dial, because you can't win if you don't ask permission, and we always check.
Next week, we'll be having a Christmas special in which we'll be looking at all the hardware for next year, including the PlayStation, the Saturn and the Ultra 64. We'll leave you now with a clip from one of the first games for the Ultra 64, Killer Instinct.
See you next week.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Victory!